Hey guys, today I'm here to talk to you guys about study tips. So it's kind of the beginning of the semester. I've been in school for maybe 2 weeks now. So I've been trying to get this video out to you guys. It's a collab done with Fresh Progress Beauty. She's a great girl here on YouTube. Definitely I'll link her video of the study tips down below, if not right across here. So go check out her channel. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first tip that I have for you guys is to take notes. Now, I know that kind of seems obvious. You're like, Osara, take notes. And yeah, it's kind of obvious, but you need to put more thought into how you take notes because it'll allow you to learn material better. So I'll just kind of show you guys what I have and I'll kind of talk through it then. So this is the folder that I use for biochemistry. It's kind of very plain, but I mean, it got the job done. There's lots of pages in it for me to write. So with biochem, he taught off of PowerPoints. So I decided to take notes on paper by hand because I pay more attention when I'm writing by hand. I don't know if you guys are really good with taking notes on the computer, but sometimes I get distracted. So I like to do the old-fashioned pen and paper, pencil and paper, and take notes like that. So because I said he has PowerPoints, I also would print out the PowerPoints before class and make notes along the PowerPoint instead of having to like draw it by hand because I am not a good drawer at all. So I have the little objects that he has, whatever that he has on the PowerPoint, and I can just note here like, oh, he talks about this, and directly like draw an arrow to whatever is on the slide and say he says this about this. And I kind of did that on each one, and I would do that daily. And you see the notes are kind of colorful. There's different colors for different things. I did that both on my PowerPoint notes as well as in my written notes. So go ahead through my written notes. My written notes, like, I would box things and, you know, just kind of go by ear on what you want to be in normal ink and what you want to stand out. It really just depends on what is being written that day and whether or not I choose to color code it or not. So yeah, that's that on notes. So in addition to taking notes, you need to make sure to review your notes after class. So reviewing your notes after class could be directly right after your class, like after you get let out, or you can go back like the next day in between lectures if you have Monday, Wednesday, Friday lecture or something like that. So for me, what I chose to do, I'll show you my biochem notebook again. I would go back through the written notes that I had and I would go back and pick out the important concepts. So I showed you guys the red boxes. The red boxes I would make after class. I would go back and say, okay, this is an important formula, so I'd box it in red, and I just have a couple of that. And then things that like aren't necessarily like formulas, but they're also important, I would like box in blue. And I just kind of had a key for this class of like what I would do in what color and what I would box in what color and what it meant. And you can come up with your own key and your own colors. It's as easy as just picking up an 8 or 10 pack of markers or the little Sharpie pens. I've used those before too. Whatever you guys have at the student store that works for you guys. But it's very important to revisit the work because you'll be able to pick out important concepts and you'll know what to study before the exam comes, and you'll kind of have an idea of what you've learned each day in class without having to sit down and review 5 weeks worth of material that you haven't seen since he talked about it. So my next tip has to do with a planner. So I'm a big planning person now. I really wasn't one when I came into college. They would give us free planners from Duke and I would just never use it. And over the years I've kind of gotten into using a planner to schedule out things. So schedule, 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 because it makes your life easier. So I'm really good at writing things in my planner, but my issue now is going back to the planner. So I'll be in class and something will be said, or oh, something is due next week. I'll open my planner and I'll write it. But between that week and when that thing is due, I may or may not open my planner again. So that's my issue, and that's what I'm kind of trying to work on. But got the planner and I'm writing in it, so that's 2 steps that I've made since I've been in college, almost down to the 3rd one of being a perfect scheduler. But hopefully you guys are better than me and you'll actually go through the planner so you can see what you've written in there and kind of keep track of your work by that. But I like write out my major assignments and the exam dates ahead of time. So it's really nice to have a planner that has each day, but also has a large calendar in front of each month. Let's see if I can find one. Yeah, so like this has the entire month of July on it, and I can just go in and write every major assignment or exam that I have during the month of July, and I'll be able to revisit that and see kind of where my hard weeks are and when I need to start on work earlier. My school also has the entire semester printed on like an 8x11 sheet of paper, or 8x10, forget what the actual measurement is, but you can also just Google it and look for entire semester calendars on one sheet of paper, because that gives you all of the major assignments and exams that you have due in one semester on one sheet of paper, so you don't have to flip through a lot of pages. And I kind of usually just like post that on my fridge or post it on my wall or put it on my desk, so I always see it whenever I'm moving around my apartment. So now that you have your planner and you're scheduling things out, make sure to make to-do lists. So I make daily to-do lists. Sometimes I do it in my planner, or sometimes I do it on other sheets of paper. Like, for instance, I have here, I just like use plain computer paper, and I would mark out each day and tell you, oh, I want to do a practice exam on this day, or I want to have English homework done on this day, or a review for this class on this day. And I would even just like put, oh, go to church, and then after church do a full-length exam. So it helps you to like put out to-do lists to show what you want to accomplish each day, and there's no better feeling than crossing off everything off your to-do list at the end of the day. So that's also an added bonus. So now that you have notes that you're taking for a class and you need to review them, and you have your study schedule set out, and you know what you need to do when, now the question is where, right? So it's really about owning your space. Your study space needs to be your place. So don't always study in a place that makes you feel uncomfortable. So some people get uncomfortable when they study in the library and they see every other person around them struggling and reading over material frivolously or doing nothing. It really depends on what your college library looks like. But for me, I know some of my friends hate going to the library, but I like going to the library, but I go to the library on certain days and times. So I'm only in the library if I'm going to pull an all-nighter, because being in the library, or if I'm going to be up late until like 2 a.m. or something like that. So you may like to see windows, you may like to see outside, you may not like to see outside, and you like to be in a super quiet space, or you can want to be somewhere where people are kind of moving around so you're not always in your head. Depending on how you like to study and what atmosphere you want to be in, find that space and own it. Because if you're uncomfortable in your study space, then there's no way that you're going to actually focus on the material that you need. This may be the most important tip that I'm going to give you, but it's maximize your study time. Study smart, not hard. You can study hard, but study smart and hard, or one or the other. But either way, you have to study smart. So that means Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. If you're watching this video during your study break, shame on you, X out of it, please, and go back to what you're studying. Because distractions will kill your time, and you won't be able to accomplish everything on your to-do list in that day, and then you'll have a whole week's worth of studying piled up on Sunday night, and now you can't enjoy everything else that everyone else does on Sunday night because you're stuck trying to play catch up for the last entire week, you know? So make sure you're not being distracted. So for me, like I said, I take notes on pen and paper because I know having my computer will distract me. But what about those times where you need your computer to do your work, or if you took notes on your computer and you need to review your notes on the computer? What do? Facebook is literally right there. Every time I open my computer, I accidentally push F or push T for Twitter or Facebook, and it pops up automatically, and I'm like, wait, how did I get to Twitter? It's kind of just a habit now. So the best way to stay away from that is to use apps. There's apps that block you off the internet or turn off your Wi-Fi, or there's the app that I use, the name is Self-Control. Yeah, Self-Control app, and it's for Mac, I believe. I don't know the Windows equivalent to that. You guys can look it up. It may be the same for Windows, but if you download that app, you can put certain websites that you know are your main distractors, and when you turn it on, it won't allow you to log into that. Some of my friends also, during finals week is pretty much the time when they do this, but they usually switch passwords. So they'll open their Facebook and put in their current password and tell their friend to change their password, so they're not allowed to log in. The only downside is you have to continuously keep changing your password every semester, and sometimes people just don't want to do that. For me, I like to stick with the password that I have because I can remember it, and I'm not really good at continuously changing things. So I opt for the self-control app, so you guys should check that out for any distracting websites that you guys kind of use. Self-control app takes care of all of that. My next study tip is flashcards. Flashcards is kind of old school, specifically the ones on note cards are old school. So some people are like, flashcards, but they have the ones that are on the like metal rings, and they'll allow you to like just flip through them without having to actually like lift them up and keep hold of a stack of note cards with a rubber band or something. But also, now that we're in the age where everything is at our fingertips on our phone, they have flashcard apps that you can access, and I like flip through them when I'm on the bus, and I just answer questions like that, or they have actual virtual flashcards that you flip over and see the real answer. So I use that because it helps me in the time where I would be checking Twitter or Facebook is usually when I'm riding the bus around campus. So instead of checking Twitter and Facebook, I go through the flashcards and get a couple questions in and kind of jog my memory of what I'm studying if I'm worried about a specific subject that week. So that brings me to practice tests and question banks. Scour the internet for practice tests and question banks. Ask your friends if they have a book that has practice questions in it that you can use. Go to your library and check your library to see if they have books that have practice questions in it. Because for me, my library stocks a ton of study aids, so you don't even have to buy it. And a lot of the apps that are online that have like question banks for whatever subject you're studying for are also free online, just because there's tons of people who've taken the class before you. So don't be afraid to type in a little Google search and look for questions for whatever subject or whatever chapters you're being tested on during that part of your semester, because it's free help, and the more questions that you practice, the more prepared that you're going to be going into the exam. Also, pass exams from your professor. If your professor puts 3 practice tests online on Sakai or Blackboard or whatever, or Moodle, some people use Moodle, whatever online site that your school uses, if they put up 3 practice tests for you that they wrote themselves, why would you go looking somewhere else for questions when they've written questions that are going to look like the exam that you're taking? So my last tip, it's a little cheesy, but it's real, because if you don't have it, you're not gonna succeed. It just pretty much is proven fact. So my last tip is to stay positive and be happy. Tearjerker, yeah, I know, kind of cheesy, but stay positive and be happy, because if you're not positive and your attitude sucks, or you're thinking, oh, I'm gonna fail this exam, I'm never gonna pass this class, guess what? You're not, because you're already telling yourself that you can't do it, and that's not going to help you. Why do that to yourself, you know? So just think, I'm going to get an A in this class, I'm going to ace this exam as long as I do A, B, and C. And then get A, B, and C done. Schedule it out, be happy, and that's a weight lifted off of your shoulder, you know? So be happy, stay positive, and just good luck studying, because those are all the tips that I have for you. So if any of you guys have any questions about what I said in the video, or if you have a question just about studying or college classes in general, leave a comment down below and I'll answer it. And also let me know if you guys want me to do a more tailored college study tips for like a specific subject or something like that. I'm always open to that. Just tell me down below. So see you guys in my next video.